All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I got an awesome one for you today. So, huge news just broke right before I came on air here. We have an attempted drone strike on the Kremlin. I shouldn't even say attempted. It was a drone strike on the Kremlin, and they were, I guess, attempting to get Putin, but Putin wasn't there. So, wow, that was quite a shocker to wake up to. We'll dive into that story. I mean, we don't know all that much about it right now, but I'll share what we do know. We also have new information. It just keeps getting worse and worse for Steven Crowder, man. It just keeps getting worse and worse. The stuff now that has leaked about him is like everybody's gunning for him. I mean, he may have thought at some point like, oh, I have allies in my fight here against the Daily Wire, in my divorce proceedings against my wife. Turns out, no, dude. You have like zero allies because apparently everybody hates this guy's guts. So we'll dive into that. We also have MSNBC just absolutely viciously smearing Marianne Williamson and comparing Marianne to Tucker Carlson. And it really does appear like the 2010 era of media is over because Vice News is going to file for bankruptcy. And this is on top of what? BuzzFeed News. Similar deal, 538. Nate Silver is now out at 538, and of course he was 538. So there's a lot to say about all that. And the Hollywood strike. I got the Hollywood writer strike. I'll break down a lot of that stuff for you. You guys know the drill. Shameless plugs for you real quick. Everybody click like, click subscribe. We're still trying to, grow that subscriber base. We recently crossed that 1 million mark. Now we're trying to get, apparently the next plaque is 10 million. That's a little sad because I think there's a prayer of getting to 2 million. 10 million's like mission impossible, but we can try mission impossible. Just see where the chips land. So everybody click subscribe. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. Remember, you can always listen to the full shows over on Spotify. We drop the full audio podcast every time we have a show over on Spotify. If you want to listen to it all in one shot, you go over there. Much love to everybody who supports this show on Patreon and supports Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. You can support the show over there. Remember, never talk to advertisers, never will. It's built small dollars and up. You guys support the show that way, so you can support on Patreon, or you can even tip. I think there's a thanks button on YouTube now. You could tip through YouTube if you like the show. It's very much appreciated. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it here. So, as I said, gigantic news that just leaked right before I came on air here. This is in The Guardian. There's a number of outlets that are actually reporting this, though. It's not just The Guardian, but Russia accuses Ukraine of trying to kill Vladimir Putin with Kremlin drone strike. Kremlin says 2 drones used in an alleged attack were disabled by Russian defenses. So, again, we don't have all that much information about this right now, but I'll give you what we do have. They say Russia accused Ukraine on Wednesday of attempting a drone strike on the Kremlin with the aim of killing President Vladimir Putin. The Kremlin said 2 drones had been used in the alleged attack, but had been disabled by Russian defenses. In a statement published on its website, the Kremlin stated it considered the attack a planned terrorist attack and an attempt on the life of the president of the Russian Federation. 2 unnamed aerial vehicles were aimed at the Kremlin as a result of timely actions taken by the military and special services with the use of radar warfare systems. The vehicles were put out of action, the Kremlin press service said. There were no victims and material damage, the Kremlin said, adding that the Russian side reserves the right to take retaliatory measures where and when it sees fit. Oh boy. The president was not hurt as a result of the terrorist attack. Putin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said Putin was not in the Kremlin at the time of the alleged strike. Peskov added that Putin would spend the day at the Novo-Ogoryovo state residence outside Moscow. One verified video circulating on social media showed what appeared to be smoke coming out of the Kremlin overnight. A second appeared to show fire on the rooftop building inside the Kremlin. Ukraine has so far not commented on the claim. Okay, so now this is floating around social media. Max Sedin, Moscow bureau chief of the Financial Times. I mean, this is a pretty legit and reputable source. Back in the day, you'd be able to tell because of the verified check mark, but of course, Elon screwed that up, and so now we can't really tell based on that. But anyway, so we have some video. So he says, Russia says Ukraine tried to assassinate Vladimir Putin overnight in a drone attack on the Kremlin. Putin was unharmed and is working as normal. It's not clear when or whether this happened, but Telegram channels are posting what looks like anti-aircraft fire over the Kremlin. So here, let me show you this video, and I think we have some more videos too. So, I mean, I see the smoke coming out of the Kremlin. I don't see... I guess up here is what they're looking at? These little dots? It almost looks like UFO type stuff. Or maybe that's a glare from the window. I don't know. But you see the smoke coming out of the Kremlin. That's pretty clear. The Kremlin says its military and secret services acted timely to shoot down the drones. Quote, Russia reserves the right to take retaliatory measures when and where it sees fit. Locals nearby posted video overnight of the apparent aftermath. All right, so here's another video. This one's more clear. Now, I don't know if this is smoke from the drone successfully attacking parts of the Kremlin, or if this is smoke from whatever the aerial defense systems are shooting down the drone, and so it's just smoke from the drones blowing up. I can't tell based on the footage. It's kind of unclear based on what we know so far. I guess I have more for you here. Incredible footage of what Russia says was Ukraine's attempt to kill Putin in a drone strike last night. So, this footage keeps getting better and better. Let's see what this one's like. Whoa. Look again. That's the drone. And that's the defense system blowing it up. Wow. One more time. That's the drone. And that's the defense system blowing it up. Jesus. Wowzers McDowsers. This is wild, man. Now, they said that Putin was not at the Kremlin. I guess it's possible that, Ukraine knew he wasn't there, but they were doing this as, just to let him know, like, hey, you're not safe type thing. It's also possible they were actively trying to assassinate him. My first thought was, damn, bro, you don't want to get the Kremlin attacked and in a assassination attempt on your life. Probably shouldn't have illegally invaded Ukraine. Like, that was my first thought, is like, hey, you kind of started it, right? Like, you launched the offensive invasion, and so they're going to say, of course, this is fair play. So that was my first thought. My second thought was, goddamn, this has spiraled so far out of control. Because, like, okay, now stop and think about this logically. What happens now? So if they view this, and it looks like they do, as an attempt on Putin's life, it's an attack on the Kremlin, well, how would the U.S. react if there was some sort of foreign adversary who attacked the White House, whether or not Biden was there, right? How would that be viewed? What is he likely to do in response to this now? Because the guy is, clearly not the most rational actor on the world scene, and we know that because he offensively invaded Ukraine. So, I mean, if they know, for example, that Zelensky is just in a general vicinity or like a certain city in Ukraine, is Putin going to be like, okay, I'm just going to level that entire city now? He's going to think he tried to assassinate me, so I'm going to try to assassinate him. Why not use, conventional weaponry and just blow up an entire city because I heard Zelensky's there? Why not break out those tactical nuclear weapons that we've heard so much about? It just seems like this was not thought out all that well, now doesn't it? Right? And there's that old saying, if you come for the king, you best not miss. It looks like they came for the king, and they missed, right? Like, that's, again, I'm going based off of limited information right now. I'm going based on just the cursory reporting, but this is like, this is all we got. And so all we have is our speculation. All we have is the videos that we've seen. All we have is the story that we're told. I mean, I guess it's theoretically possible that it's a lot more complex than they're leading on here. It's possible, I don't know, maybe it wasn't Ukraine specifically going after Putin. Maybe the U.S. was involved. I don't know, right? I don't know. All I'm doing is speculating here, and I'm trying to make that perfectly clear. But either way, if you see this and it's not very, very disturbing to you, I don't know what to tell you, because we've talked time and time again about how things spiral out of control and you're really flirting with World War III, especially when you're dealing with nuclear armed powers. And that is definitely where we're at right now, right? Like, we're on the brink, man. We're on the brink. And to not de-escalate, to not negotiate and use diplomacy and try to step back from the brink, I mean, it almost is like humanity has a suicide wish at this point, because this could easily, as bad as this is, and as big of an escalation as this is, now you don't know what he's going to do back, and this could easily spiral out of control in a way that is, like you can't put the genie back in the bottle. You know what I mean? So everybody should be on edge today. And by the way, I also, at least as of right now, when I'm recording this and I'm talking to you guys, so there's been a number of print outlets that have run with this, right? And it's all over social media and stuff. But I haven't seen a lot, you know, in traditional media. I haven't seen anything to this point on, you know, cable news. And so, I don't know, I find it strange. We're in this weird place where, like, this is a devastatingly high-risk type situation, and it's kind of a little bit buried. Now, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that by the time this drops, this is, you know, breaking news everywhere, and it's huge, and it causes reevaluation. But I don't know. I don't have high hopes for that to be the case. So, geez, how do you respond to this? All I can tell you guys is, as I like to fancy myself an objective observer, or at least as objective as I possibly can be, and I look at this and I go, this could end really, really badly. You know what I mean? This could end really, really badly. And then the other thing, like, let's say this succeeded, right? Let's say the attack on the Kremlin and Putin succeeded and he was killed. What would happen after that too, right? Like, everybody just assumes, like, oh, you know, the decapitation strategy, you get rid of the bad guy, and then, like, whoever comes next is going to be more reasonable. They may even be thankful that you took out, you know, this dictatorial madman. But it's also perfectly possible that the next guy is exactly like Putin, or the next guy is even worse than Putin, and it's also possible he's got rules written down that, hey, if I ever get axed like this, if I ever get killed like this, unleash the hounds, right? Like, unleash the nukes or whatever. And the stakes are way too high for us to be casual about all this stuff, you know what I mean? And like I told you guys, my initial reaction was like, damn, you don't want an assassination attempt on your life? Probably shouldn't have illegally and offensively invaded a country that didn't attack you, bro. That's definitely part of my mind, but the other part of my mind is like, now's not the time to just rah-rah cheerlead for a side. It's the time to try to de-escalate from the potential absolute catastrophe for the global population, which we're looking at right now. You know what I mean? So, ooh, man, terrifying situation. They need to open a line of communication. They need to talk. They need to try to de-escalate as fast as possible because, again, this sort of stuff is unsustainable. I don't think people really realize that not only are we playing with fire, we're playing with, like, wildfire. We're playing with that sort of green fire from the Game of Thrones, which is like mega, extra, ultra, next level fire. That's what it seems like. So, God help us all if this continues. Because, again, I don't know what his reaction is going to be, but it certainly ain't going to be pretty. I think we're going to learn that very quickly. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.